Dana White came out and said, "We need Brazilians." How does he mean that? What is the plan behind all of this from the UFC? Let me tell you about it, guys. Hello and welcome to Bloodsport MMA.
Salam alaikum. Alaikum salam.
After the last episode of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, where two Brazilians fought two Russians and the Brazilians both won, by the way, that could be a potential hint to what's going to happen in Abu Dhabi, who knows? Because there's a lot of Russians fighting Brazilians there. But anyways, after that, when he signed the last Brazilian guy, he said, "We need Brazilians," which was kind of weird to me at first, because you have to think about it.
And you're Brazilian. We need Brazilians. Get over here. You're in the UFC.
The UFC's roster is filled with Brazilians. I don't think that after Americans, there's any nation that is maybe Russians that is anywhere close to the amount of fighters that they have on the roster like Brazil. I mean, the UFC has so many Brazilian fighters on the contract. And if you paid attention to it, especially this season of Dana White's Tuesday Night Contender Series, I don't think there has been any week until now from all the 9 weeks where we didn't have at least one or two Brazilians. Honestly, this season of Dana White's Contender Series felt like a Brazil season. It was just filled with Brazilians. And I was wondering why the whole time, because of course there's a lot of talent coming from Brazil. No doubt about that. Brazil is a phenomenal fighting nation, has always been. But why is the UFC so desperately trying to get Brazilians? Now, why it really surprised me is because you have to see, when I was in Brazil in January to watch UFC 283, this event right here, was the first live event in an arena since I think 3 or 4 years for the UFC that was not sold out. That's why I did a video about it back then. I thought they will never come back to Brazil. Because you do a pay-per-view and don't sell out the arena in Rio. So how do you want to fill any arena in the future in Brazil? With a legend like Glover on the court and everything. That was so weird to me. But now, they're going to Sao Paulo in November for a fight. Now the next year, it looks like they're not doing the Brazil in January like they used to do in the past. But Dana White saying we need Brazilians tells us that they probably have some huge plans for events in Brazil in the future, and maybe even have a contract that they did, because normally the UFC, when they go into new countries or talk with the countries about putting on shows and everything, they normally do like contracts. For example, Abu Dhabi has a contract with the UFC that the UFC has to do at least one event per year in Abu Dhabi. It's fixed in a contract. Same with Australia. I think with Australia, it's even 2 events per year that is fixed in a contract. They have to put on at least 2 shows in Australia per year. And maybe they did a new contract with UFC Brazil, because I know there's Fight Pass Brazil now or something. So they're doing a lot of innovations in Brazil. I would not be surprised if they have a new contract with Brazil that says, hey, look, you need to have this and this many Brazilian fighters on your roster. You need to come to Brazil at least twice per year or something like this. And Dana White tries to push that because of that. And they probably try to expand more in the South American region anyways. I think he even talked about maybe building a PI out there. I know they're building one in Mexico, which is not officially Latin American, but
Viva Mexico, güey! Viva Mexico!
They are probably having big plans for South America. And I mean, I don't see any other possibility in that we need Brazilian sense, because you barely ever hear Dana say we need people from a specific country, unless you're planning something big there. And why it surprised me so much is because, as I said, the UFC is filled with Brazilians. That's why it doesn't even make sense to me, even if they want to expand there and everything. Like, the UFC is filled with Brazilians. If they would say, hey, we need more Peruvians or, I don't know, people from Ecuador, okay, I understand. But Brazilians? The UFC is full of Brazilians. Why did Dana White say this? Write your opinion in the comments, guys. Also, don't forget to like this video, guys. Subscribe to this channel. I'd highly appreciate that. and most importantly, that you get signed by Dana White. Make sure to get your sleep in. Until the next one, bye-bye. Bloodsport out.